What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and today we're here to talk about the latest horror flick, Weapons. And this is, of course, going to be a spoiler review, so if you yet to see the film, I recommend that you kind of get on out of here and come check us out after the fact. I won't be mad at you, but you've been warned, this has been full spoilers. Spoilers are starting now. And right off rip, I just want to say that I'm very happy that a horror film is getting the praise that it is getting right now. It's very rare that you see a horror film getting 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, it has dropped just a little bit. Last time I checked, I think the audience was like 83, and then the critic score was like 96. But still, it's very rare that a horror film gets that, because if you notice in recent history that they kind of get dogged on Rotten Tomatoes. So I'm glad that it's getting its flowers. The horror community definitely deserves a win, and I'm happy for everybody who has enjoyed this film. Like, I'm seeing all the reactions. Everybody's coming out very stoked and like just super hyped on this film. But unfortunately, that wasn't me. Going into this film, I was super excited, just like all of you guys. I mean, it had a stat cast, a really cool story, just something that felt a little different. So it had all the good things going for it, and I was super hyped from this film. I went to a super late, showing at 10 o'clock. Right when I got out of work, I went straight there, and I was just like very excited to go watch this movie. And then throughout the movie, I just found myself feeling bored, confused, and randomly laughing more than I thought I should. I mentioned that in my out-of-theater reaction, and I don't think that those are the three things that you want when it comes to a horror film. It started out pretty strong. I'm not gonna lie, like the hook gets you, and then like it just kind of drags, because it is kind of a slow burn, and then they just kind of take it, they drag it, and it just kind of takes a minute to finally take off. And then it does the whole concept where it's the same story shown through different perspectives, which I did like that. That was cool. I love when movies do that. But I just felt, like I said, bored throughout the movie. And then when it comes to, like I said, spoilers ahead, the antagonist in the film ended up being the aunt. I just felt like there wasn't much, like they didn't really tell us much about her. She just kind of shows up, like, and granted, I know they mentioned it was witchcraft, and if I completely missed something in this film, please correct me, let me know down below, because apparently other people are seeing something that I haven't seen in this film, and I wanted to love it just like the rest of you guys. But like, they gave us no backstory of the aunt. How she got into witchcraft, why she's doing what she's doing. She's just, controlling these kids and controlling these adults, using them as weapons. And I'm assuming it's to kind of help her heal. I don't know. They don't really elaborate on that. She just knows witchcraft, and she's doing these awful things, and there's no explanation for it. It's just there. And I wasn't like a big fan of that. I just felt like, okay, so what was the point in this? And honestly, she was kind of annoying. Yeah, she was creepy, but she was kind of annoying throughout the film. So at the end of it, when all the kids kind of turned their back on her and they brutally murder her, that was an interesting scene, to say the least. They brutally murder her. I laughed. So I was happy. Well, I was content with the ending, not because I enjoyed the film, just because I was like, all right, this character that I found kind of obnoxious throughout the film is kind of gone. Like, she shows up in the dreams of Archer, which is Josh Brolin's character, and she's the main girl. I should not forget her name, but Julie Gardner's character. She randomly shows up in their dreams. There's no explanation why she does that. Again, I know it's witchcraft, but other than the fact that she takes the kids from her classroom, there's really no explanation of why she has any ties to her, why she would be showing up in her dream, and also Archer's dream, which is Josh Brolin's character. There was just no like build up for it. There was no explanation for it, and I was honestly kind of disappointed when we got like the whole mystery of what happened to the kids. Why did they get up? And ended up just being this, like, she just mind controlled them, and they were all just standing in her basement for God knows how long. Like, no idea what they were doing in there. She didn't change. Her parents did not change at all. She was still sick, so she obviously wasn't healing her, which is the only thing I can think of why she would be doing what she's doing. But it made no sense to me. And again, I would love for you guys to correct me. Let me know if I missed something, because I wanted to love this film just like the rest of you guys. But I don't know. It just didn't hit for me. And you know what? That's okay. Not every movie's gonna hit for you. There's a lot of great horror films coming out, but I just was really hoping that this would be one that I would enjoy. Like I said, I found myself laughing. There was a few moments with like Josh Brolin's character after he had his nightmare, and the aunt pops up in his dream, and he just yells like, "What the fuck?" Like, the theater was dying laughing for that. And the ending scene when the kids are chasing the old lady, like the aunt, like the way they filmed it, they made it very comedic. So yeah, there was stuff about it that was funny, but like I said, it just that's all I can say is I felt bored, confused, and I laughed more than I thought I should. But that doesn't take away from the performances. Julia Gardner, she did a fantastic job. You know, it's kind of her year right now between Fantastic Four, this. I loved her in Ozark. Of course, Josh Brolin, that is my boy, Thanos. Like, and I'm hoping he comes back for the next Avengers films. And of course, Benedict Wong. You know, it was really cool to see him in this. He was the principal, and he's the first one that kind of gets weaponized aside from the children to try to take out the teacher, because the aunt finds out that the teacher's doing some investigating. So she's just trying to take her out so she doesn't get caught. But again, we don't know her motives. We don't know why she's doing what she's doing. If she's just kind of there, you know, to be the antagonist and to be the explanation why the kids are missing. I feel like there could have been a cooler reason why the kids all got up at 2:17 and they're all been missing. And maybe there was a twist that the teacher was involved in some way, shape, or form, but it just wasn't there. And then, of course, we get to the cop, who is the ex-love interest of Julia Gardner's character, who, you know, he eventually gets weaponized himself because he's trying to track down this homeless dude who ends up being, like, on drugs and whatnot. And they chase him to the house where all the kids are at, because the guy that's on drugs breaks into the house early on in the film to kind of steal stuff, you know, to get money, to pawn stuff to make money. And then that's when he sees all the kids in there, and he notices that there's a $50,000 reward for anybody who can find the kids. So he tries to go to the police station to let everybody know. And because he had some beef with that cop early on in the film, where the cop caught him breaking into a window, so there was a whole chase scene, and then he goes to, you know, check his pockets, everything, and he gets poked with a needle, and then the cop punches him in the face, and he's like, oh crap, that was on camera. So he lets the guy go. He's like, if I ever see you around here anymore, then that's gonna be the end of it. So, and then when the homeless guy finds, you know, the children, try to go do the right thing, you know, kind of the right thing, he just really wanted the money. He didn't care about the kids. There's a whole, you know, another chase between those two. And so they end up both back at the house, and they eventually become weapons themselves, where the cop, you know, fights Julia Gardner's character. And then that part was funny with the homeless guy. Again, I forget the characters' names, because like I said, some other, like, I just felt myself kind of dozing off. Granted, I went to a late showing, so that could have an effect on it, but I had a hard time kind of like staying grasped into the film, so a lot of their names kind of, you know, are kind of losing me a little bit. But there was a whole scene where Archer, Josh Brolin's character, is, you know, trying to control the weaponized homeless guy, and it's just a bit where he just, no matter how many times he punches him, he gets knocked out. 2 seconds later, he's out screaming again, doing that monster thing, and it just goes on for like a solid like minute and a half. And yeah, it was a funny bit. So they were doing that while Julia Gardner's character was kind of, you know, taking on the cop, and she unfortunately has to shoot her love interest in the head, because, you know, he's gonna kill her if he doesn't. But yeah, like I said, it was just kind of chaotic, and it was hard to kind of like follow for me. And like, I was really hoping to like this film. Like, truly, I was like, it had all the good things, you know, going for it, and I was shocked that I felt the way I did throughout this film. But ultimately, at the end of the day, this movie wasn't for me. And again, that is okay. I'm not going to sit here and dog on it. I'm giving it its flowers, because I'm happy that a horror film is getting the praise it deserves. Because aside from all the Marvel stuff and, you know, sci-fi, I'm a huge horror fanatic. So it's nice to see a horror movie get its flowers. And to that, like I said, I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. But wasn't for me. It's okay. Not the end of the world. But now I want to hear from you guys. Let me know down below in the comments how you felt about Weapons. Did you love this movie? Did you hate it? Are you kind of mid? Like, how did you feel about it? And again, correct me if I'm wrong, because apparently I'm not seeing something that the rest of the world is seeing, because I've only seen like a handful of people agree with me, but everybody else is absolutely loving this. So I'm wondering if I have to watch this movie again to see something that I missed. So if I missed something, please let me know down below in the comments, because if I need to be corrected, let me know, or enlighten me on things that I didn't understand. Like, help me understand this movie more, so maybe I can actually enjoy it with a second rewatch if you guys correct me. But let me know down below in the comments how you felt. And like always, I appreciate you guys taking the time to check out this video. Don't forget to like button, subscribe to the channel way out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.